Welcome, everyone. Today I'm excited to share a wonderful story titled A Story of Friendship, Family, and Finding Comfort, written by Alma Flor Ada and Gabriel M. Zubizarreta. We'll explore themes of love, connection, and support through a touching reading from Love, Amalia. Over the next few minutes, we'll dive into how these themes come to life in the story and what they can teach us about relationships and understanding. Let's get started. So why is Love, Amalia a perfect example of realistic fiction? Well, let's break it down. First, the themes it explores are very relatable, things like loss, change, and family. These are experiences many of us go through in real life. Then, the plot is based on real-life events or situations, which makes the story feel authentic and believable. Next, the setting is also realistic, places like Chicago and California, familiar locations that ground the story in the real world. The characters in this book are believable too. They act and feel like real people with genuine emotions and struggles. All of these elements come together to make Love, Amalia a prime example of realistic fiction. It makes us ask, could this really happen? And the answer is yes, it could. That's the power of stories that reflect real life. They help us see ourselves and the world around us more clearly. Now let's look at how Amalia's long black hair sweeping her shoulders can reveal her mood. When she's upset, she tends to shake her head, which is a clear sign of her feelings. This simple gesture helps us understand her emotional state without her saying a word. It's a great example of how body language, like hair movements or head shakes, can show what someone is feeling inside. Recognizing these nonverbal cues is important because it helps us connect better with her story and understand her more deeply. So what does nunca más mean in English? Well, it's a phrase that really shows how permanent Amalia feels her loss is. It's like she's saying she will never forget or move on from this moment. When she says nunca más, she's expressing a deep sense of finality and heartbreak. Now let's look at the practice question. She wishes it was all just a bad dream. That tells us how overwhelming her feelings are. She wishes she could wake up and find everything's okay again. Amalia feels both angry and sad about what's happened. Those emotions are natural when facing a big change or loss. And remember, Martha is moving west to California. That's a significant change, and it adds to the pain of moving away from loved ones or familiar places. So overall, the phrase nunca más captures that feeling of permanence, of a loss that feels unchangeable. It's a powerful expression of how deeply she feels this separation, which ties into the larger theme of dealing with change and emotional pain in this story. So what is the deeper meaning behind the taffy changing color? Well, this simple transformation actually carries a powerful message. Even something that seems sticky and hard at first, like this dark brown taffy, can be transformed through effort and patience. It's a reminder that change is possible, no matter how tough things might seem initially. You see, Amalia and Abuelita knead the melcacha together, working through the process, and that act of kneading symbolizes effort and perseverance. The dark brown turns into a light blonde, illustrating how persistence can lead to positive change. This highlights a key lesson. Just like the magic of melcacha, change is a natural part of life. It teaches us that with effort, we can transform not only objects, but also ourselves. It's a beautiful reminder that growth often comes through hard work and patience. So let's talk about that first emotion Abuelita says you feel when someone you love goes away. It's often a surprise, but it's really important to recognize that this initial feeling is a normal part of the grieving process. Now, in our practice question, it mentions that the pain can come back even more painfully than before. That's something many people experience, those waves of pain that seem to hit harder the next time they surface. It's crucial to understand that feeling angry and sad is completely normal. These emotions are natural responses to loss, and they don't mean you're weak or that you're not healing. Instead, they are part of a cycle of painful emotions that we all go through when coping with loss. Abuelita's advice is very powerful here. She describes how you can feel anger one moment, then sadness the next, and sometimes it feels so unbelievable that someone you love is really gone. This cycle is normal, and it's an essential part of processing grief. Ultimately, the key message is that experiencing these feelings, anger, sadness, and eventually acceptance, is part of a healthy healing process. Recognizing that these emotions come and go helps us understand that grief isn't linear. It's a cycle, and with time and patience, we can move toward acceptance and peace. So, how does Abuelita keep her loved ones close from afar? Well, one powerful way is through memories. Memories truly make loved ones feel alive, even when they are not physically present. Reading those memories aloud or looking at them helps us feel connected and close to family members who are far away. A special way Abuelita does this is by keeping a box of cards and letters. These little mementos hold so much meaning, capturing feelings, stories, and moments that keep the family bond strong. This collection is often called the Box of Treasures, because it's more than just paper, it's a treasure trove of love and memories. Finding ways to keep loved ones close, even across distance, is a central theme here. It reminds us that through memories, stories, and keepsakes, we can maintain that sense of closeness and love, no matter where we are in the world. So, what does the word prelude really mean in the context of this poem? Well, a prelude is something that comes before the main event, like a beginning that hints at what's to come. In this case, it's not about death or endings, but about what follows: new growth, new life. Let's look at the practice question. It says, "A dry leaf is not an elegy, a song of death, but rather a prelude, a promise of a distant spring." What that's telling us is that even something that looks like the end, a dry leaf, is really a sign of hope. It's a promise that spring, renewal, new beginnings are on the way. This idea is reinforced by the message that endings are just the beginning of something new. And it connects beautifully with the overall theme here. Change is natural and inevitable, and often, it's a prelude to growth. You might notice that Abuelita sends dried autumn leaves in her cards. That's a lovely symbol of this idea. Even in the fall, there's a promise of spring. So, in this slide, I want us to really grasp that change, even when it seems like an ending, is actually a natural step toward renewal. It's a prelude to spring. So, what was the greatest gift that Abuelita said Tio Patricio had found? Well, the key idea here is that love and a happy family are considered life's greatest gifts. Even when family members are separated by great distances, those bonds of love remain incredibly important. In this story, Abuelita was feeling sad because Tio Patricio moved away, but she understood that this move was necessary. He moved to Costa Rica to be with his wife, which shows how love can lead us to make difficult decisions. Tio Patricio's story is a perfect example of how, even far apart, family love keeps us connected and happy. It reminds us that no matter where we are in the world, the love we share with our family is truly the most precious gift we can have. So, how did Tio Manuel prove that people can change and overcome past mistakes? Well, the key lesson here is that it's never too late to change and find success. Despite facing setbacks early on, he managed to turn his life around. He became a successful organic farmer, which is a huge achievement. He also returned to Mexico to work on the family rancho, showing his commitment to his roots and his family. It's important to remember that he dropped out of high school and made some mistakes along the way. But instead of letting those mistakes define him, he chose to grow and improve. This transformation highlights how perseverance and a positive mindset can lead to success, no matter your past. Tio Manuel's story is a powerful reminder that change is always possible, and it's never too late to start again. Now, let's think about how Amalia might have felt when Martha first shared the news. The question asks us to identify which vocabulary word best describes her feelings. First, consider the word inseparable. This means something that cannot be separated, like close friends or bonds. Do you think Amalia felt inseparable from Martha at that moment? Probably not, since the question suggests a strong emotional reaction. Next, look at reassuring. This word describes making someone feel less worried or anxious. If Martha's news was comforting to Amalia, then this could be the right choice. But if the news was shocking or upsetting, then maybe not. Now consider shattered. This means broken into pieces, like a broken heart. If Amalia was very upset or overwhelmed, this might describe her feelings. Finally, enthusiasm refers to high interest or excitement. If Amalia was happy and excited about the news, then this word fits. So, by analyzing these options, we can better understand Amalia's emotional state and choose the word that best captures her feelings. Think about which of these words really matches the emotions she experienced when she heard the news for the first time. So, if I were Amalia, what would I do to keep my friendship with Martha strong despite the distance? Well, I think the key is to focus on staying connected in meaningful ways. This could mean regular phone calls, video chats, or even sending messages and small tokens to show I care. It's all about making an effort to maintain that emotional bond, even when we're apart. I would also want to be honest about my feelings and share my experiences, so Martha knows she still matters to me. And of course, I'd listen actively when she shares her thoughts or struggles, showing empathy and understanding. This final question really hits home because it asks us to consider whether Amalia can overcome her pain and hold on to her friend. It reminds us that true friendship requires effort, vulnerability, and sometimes a willingness to prioritize the relationship over our own hurt. So the big takeaway here is that keeping a friendship strong across distance isn't just about the physical act of staying in touch. It's about investing emotionally and being willing to work through our own challenges to preserve those meaningful connections.